Hi, hello. This is not going to be a long stream. I just really want to say congratulations to K Pro for doing so well in the tournament. You know, that's more than just an amazing achievement. Considering that it's not year on year, 14, 15 years effort to get where she got. INFJ, that's quick, really quick. Um, and today I just want to talk about, or not talk about, but just offer congratulations and remembrance for your July 4th, which will be, you know, partly over by the time I get home from work, my tomorrow, and then your tomorrow. So, I'm already heading towards tomorrow. And David B's already there. But with the Independence Day, whilst I hope that everybody has a really good celebration, there is a remembrance that comes with that. And for those people who are religious enough and appreciate Christianity, etc., or Catholics or whatever, however that works, let's not forget, there's a reason behind that day of celebration. It's like for Christmas, it's not just buying the presents. There's a reason why we celebrate that day, and the same for your July 4th. There's a reason why you celebrate that, and it's it comes at a cost. Freedom and independence comes at a cost. So behind the celebrations, there has to be the remembrance that things were done and people made special efforts to basically create a country that you now call home. So it's worth thinking about rather than just going out having a few beers. And I don't know how you celebrate it there, really. Like, is it burgers and sausages and stuff outside, or is it a party thing? Just thinking about the chase. For me, it seems like it's coming to an end, and there's a lot of background noise that is meant to be there. So speaking to David today, there's lots of stuff that we have thought about in regards to what's the final process of all of it. And I think we agree that this was about Forrest's ending. You're not a finder, not a solver, not Chase Inc. or Chase Underground or court cases or lead searcher, best solver. The statement was, can I make it happen the way that it's supposed to be? Just paraphrased. So the culmination of this, the end of this, should be about Major Forrest Burke Fenn, and not about a chest full of gold, who who the solver or finder or searcher is. It'll be about what, or should be about, what was Forrest's intention and how well did he affect the future, and how did he make this memory come about, which is similar to you have to remember what went into it to make it the celebration that it could be, rather than just forget everything that went before and just celebrate because you like to go out and party or something. Hi Luck, how's it going? Hi Bill. Ciao. That's food, not ciao the other ciao. Yeah, so that's the point. But the point is that it's about Forrest doing this, not the solver, which is what I'm trying to say. If it's changing history, if it's something amazing for the world, if it's too much talk has been about who the solver is, who the finder is, not about what did Forrest do, how did Forrest make it happen, what was the intent, what was the drive, what was the goal. People still talking about chest. I thought we were way beyond that. But if it's not the chest, then what is it, and why did Forrest make this effort, and why did he say that our effort would be worth the cold? And what is the information contained in the poem that Forrest wanted to give to people? So there's a reason that this poem was created, and how much of the poem will be read will be up to the future, to decide which memory Forrest was talking about. Drive the car. 100% it was going to be big news. So, now it's got to be. Forrest talked about the vehicle. He needed a vehicle for this and everything, and used the book for the poem. But at the very beginning, well, I say the very beginning, I wasn't in at the very beginning. So the bits that I saw at the beginning of my chase was Forrest announcing that it would be revealed on CNN and all of the other information that came with that, and that to me didn't happen. So therefore, this statement of the chase ending, nothing to see, etc., couldn't have really been the official chase end that Forrest was talking about. No. Couldn't have been the official chase end that we expected that Forrest was talking about. So Forrest was talking about an end, nothing to see here. But the fact that it wasn't, announced on CNN, and it wasn't the big statement that Forrest had made, then, to me, that set alarm bells ringing, saying, well, Forrest said it was going to be announced on CNN, it was going to be on Dell's, it was going to be on K-Pros. Those things didn't really happen to the extent that Forrest implied. And that should make you think that Forrest had a bigger story to unfold, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. The bullet over his eyebrow. Something ended at the bullet over his eyebrow. Forrest said that something ends the chase. And then, after then, said the treasure has been found. So at that point, treasure had been found. Forrest said he couldn't end it even if he wanted to. So that means something else. Not a person finding something. And someone hadn't found anything when that statement was made. As Forrest would have ended it then. Or at least, we'd have gone through the cold then. So Forrest couldn't end it. And then he made the statement that he would. There's no timeline to this. I'm just saying these are the bits of information that I got. And then he said that it would help the searchers stay safe. And he talked about, even searchers going out in the snow because it was dangerous. And, talk of pulling the chest and ending it. Well, if people are going to go out and do crazy things, even though he's trying to make them safe, then there's a possibility that anybody in the right mind would think, well, hang on a minute, these these people with gold fever are going to kill themselves. So, there may have been a temptation to stop people, doing crazy things and trying to kill themselves, even if they didn't know it. Not sure what you mean by the bullet over the eyebrow, because it was supposed to be a bell. I haven't talked about that as well, but when they do the athletics, there's an Amiga bell. And that would combine two things. I'm not saying it is, but it would combine two things. It would combine the Amiga with the bell that you should ring, if you should think of Forrest and wish to please his ghost. Bullet holes are called puncture wounds. Let's say I didn't really look at that picture too closely. It looked like swelling. I didn't know if there was actually a puncture, but Forrest got a lot of punctures when he was younger, going to Yellowstone, plenty of flats. And that was even another solve that I did as well about whiskey. You won't believe the solves that I did that I haven't told anybody. Not even Forrest. I might have told him about the whiskey. I can't remember. But it's in the poem, and it's a whole statement about the people that invented it, made it, the name of it, where it is, where it's produced, and those sort of things. Nobody hit with one side of a bell. No, I didn't say that. I said that there are bells called Amiga, and they could combine two things. Hi, Reed. I think it's the first time here. Nice to see you here. I know you left me a post the other day, so I appreciate that. I don't want people to think that I'm still searching for anything. I stopped before the announcement was made. Gave Forrest that email that said, I was happy with my soul. And I was speaking to Dave today, and it still doesn't bother me. But it still holds some of my focus that all these people that are in the poem, like, it's hard to imagine that all those people together in one place talking, and yet they're all together in the poem. And these people probably are together, because most of them, I keep saying them, come from Fort Worth. And that's where the chickens were being chased. And even that, who's to say it wasn't Forrest chasing the chickens with June and Skippy? If they get one, let them keep it, sort of thing. Let them have it. Yes, that was the comment you left about the pineapple. And it was almost like you're telling me about the Globetrotters, which Forrest talked about. But I haven't looked up. That was the first thing that came to my mind when you talked about, use their names. But Forrest did talk about the Globetrotters, and those were the names that sort of popped to my mind, and also the low-hanging fruit. Forrest also talked about the grapevine and the people, those rich people that were involved in that. Really, I just wanted to, I haven't looked up those names yet, to try and get a bearing on what it was that you actually said. But the first thing that came to my mind was Globetrotters and vineyards and low-hanging fruit, and I picked a couple of them, and those sort of things. Yeah, that was the name. So it was either baseball that was on my mind. I seem to remember something like that being in a Simpsons episode. Sorry. That name seems to ring a bell as being a baseball player. But the first thing that came to mind, like I say, was the Harlem Globetrotters. But I will look into it. But like I say, I'm not really searching for answers other than all them rich people. Um, it would have been easier if we just put like, yeah, the baseball players or the basketball players, and then I'd have an idea of. I know Daryl Strawberry seems to stick out a bit. I can't remember Forrest using those names in the Thrill of the Chase, but obviously I remember pineapples because of the pies. I can't remember the cherries and the strawberries as separate, you know, talking about stuff. And we'll talk about that today. To be fair, breaking pineapple pies in half and Forrest being able to buy them, and the horses, letting go of the horses' reins and then finding them afterwards. But I really came on here to talk about, it's an important day for you, and it's still my tomorrow as well, but your tomorrow. And I would hate to think that it was the same as people celebrating Christmas over here. Is there's no thought about why that date exists other than to celebrate and give presents or get drunk or have something to eat or have the family round or whatever. And there's no thought as to what really went into that taking place. Hey Zozo, all good. Ah, hmm. If it's the photo I think you're talking about, but I can't find that photo again, and it probably isn't the photo you're thinking about. It depends which photo you are on about. If it's the lady by the tree, or if it's a different photo. Hey, we might have been glad to get rid of a few of you. You don't know. You don't know. Eugene. Okay, so he might be on the same track. Her name was mentioned. We'll do it. So, like I say, we might be on the same track, but only if it's the lady by the tree, which I couldn't find again. So, there's two things I couldn't find. That there was a lady by a tree, which was a Forrest Fenn photo apparently, and there was also the mention that Forrest was able to do Native American code. So those bits of information, when I went back to find them, they weren't there. I don't know how I came across them in the first place, to be fair. But and Bill seems to know too much to be a searcher who thinks it's up 100-foot Colorado Bluff. When he says, "Oh, it must be Norman's relative then." Psycho. You still didn't say whether it was a lady by the tree. You just said. So yeah, those two things. That when I first got into the chase, I looked for the information, and there it was. And then when I looked again to confirm, that it was correct information, I couldn't find them. So what I should have done was save them, but I didn't because I wasn't expecting them to disappear. There seems to be some discrepancy between when that birthday is. But unless Barbara is related to you as well, Bill. It's like, how do you know these things? I know you have your like 6 degrees of separation or 3 degrees or whatever it is, but it seems to be related into well-off members of society, dated back, a long time. Well, I remember the school janitor as the Hersig lady because of her fag end and what the people were, or what the children were saying. So she stands out to me because of that. And then that, involves, Oxford and all those things that go with it. Within the chase, I said this to Davey, within the chase, there is the ability to follow the information that Forrest gives and end up with a perfectly viable solve because of the information that Forrest gives. Because if you choose any not event, if you choose any aberration within the chase, you will end up with a solve regarding that aberration. So something that stands out to you, you could end up with a solve. Now that might be the answers that Forrest already knows, because that's why they're there, for you to find and for you to go on the journey that is expected. Like, adding a dog chewed ears, dog eared, something like that. Because that word doesn't exist, it does stick out that, hang on a minute, that's not really correct. What was meant by that? And then you start, on a little journey of what was Forrest meaning by this, and then something that stands out to you, which is what Forrest said, basically. If you've never been to the edge, look for the aberrations. Once you start doing that, you end up with a solve, and it becomes quite believable to you, not to anybody else. Because the problem with the solves that we have is no one will probably understand my solve. I don't understand, somebody else's solve. And if they give you information, you would have to know the whole solve to understand it. Like Reed Randall was giving me information. If I don't understand that part of the information, any solve that comes from that won't make any sense until you know all of what's being said. So, nobody will understand trusted solve unless they know, the start of it, those sonnets, and how they interact with the thrill of the chase, and the ending of it. Having a little bit of it, just makes you think, no, he's talking rubbish. You're not trusted, I'm just saying. And the same with Dave Man from the East. And anybody, Five Leaf. If Five Leaf just puts out gasoline, and these words are in the poem, it's all, in my opinion, part of something. Just hearing those words and not having it explained to you doesn't mean much to anybody, and they will ignore the soul because they don't understand it. And that's why people just turn around and go, no, you're wrong, because they're not prepared to take the time to understand it. Hi, Wick, how you doing? I'm trying to say happy Independence Day to you Americans, because your Independence Day will be when I'm at work, so you'll have had it and started going through it before I've even spoke. So I'm saying it now for tomorrow, as it were. I'm trying to ask to spare a thought for how that came about. Not because you beat us British and got rid of us. I don't mean that, but the people that did what they had to do in order to create a country, basically, and the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights and all of those things that you have. and the form of government that you have. And I know at the moment it's probably not the best thing to talk about, but you are the country that you are, and you are that country for a reason. And those things need to be remembered when you're out celebrating the fact that you are a colony, country, whatever, however you term that to be. I don't think I missed anyone. Yeah, I remember. I remember that being said, all right, and people have talked about her in the time that I've been in the chase. So I'm not going to deny that. Well, meek means many things, and you'll be surprised what meek does mean, and you have to remember the contradictions as well. 26, 2020 was my birthday. Hi, Greg. Oh, right. Well, thank you, Finder, then. If Greg is thanking the Finder, then, thank you for helping Greg um, achieve that. Hi, Sophia. How you doing? That's tomorrow. You talk about independence. I know. That's what I just said. It's tomorrow. But your tomorrow, you'd have already had your Independence Day before I can get back to say Happy Independence Day. So I'm doing it now because it's nearly my tomorrow already, and then I'll be going to bed, and then I won't see you lot or hear you lot until after you've already celebrated. And then I could just come and say, "Oh, did you have a great Independence Day?" Or I could wish you one now before you actually do it, and just ask you to spare a thought for how that came about. You know, I'm talking about the your founding fathers and all those people that after that wrote those important words that you have. Yes, I did read the book, and I understand what you're saying, Reed. But again, whilst those are important pieces of information, it would require me to believe a solve based around that, and means, as I said, I wouldn't talk about. I'll talk about souls, but I wouldn't talk about other people's souls. Then I'm reluctant to talk about my thoughts about other people's souls, other than those bits of information are in the poem. So, I don't talk about Troy Solve, and I don't talk about Five Leaf Solve, and I don't talk about Trusted Souls, and I don't talk about Bill Solve. I don't talk about Tim's or Queen's or Dutchman from the East, or I don't talk about their souls and the information about that because it's not my information to talk about. Ring the bell for Eric tomorrow. I've tried ringing bells for Forrest on this, but they never seem to work. But I will endeavour to do that. We talk about Eric Sloan, obviously. I try not to make assumptions, but I would gather that it would be Eric Sloan. Yes, I have the book not too far away from me, just over there, to be fair. And that was given to me by a kind person. Otherwise, my soul started or was only based on the poem because I didn't have the book and I couldn't afford to buy the book. Well, I could afford to buy it, but I couldn't afford to justify buying it. What with buying the book and having it delivered, etc. It wasn't an expense at the time I couldn't afford. And then a year later, not even a year later, months later, I was in America being stupid, thinking that I could go to America, pick up a bronze chest full of treasure and put it on the plane with me and go home. But that's what gold fever does to you. It just, the movie comes true. And that's pretty important, isn't it? Something ends a chase. So if it is, something coming true, then, that would be a good thing to end the chase, wouldn't it? And that would contradict all the fraud accusations and everything else going on. which is something else I was speaking to David about. The first part of this had to take place in order that the second part of it could take place. But it doesn't mean to say that's the end of it, because Forrest said the promise of new discoveries, and it was never about finding everything. It was just about proving that Forrest was not a fraud, because I wasn't even going to do these videos. And I thank Britt Chaser, and Paul for giving me the courage to do that, because in the beginning I had a solve that I was happy with, and I told Forrest that, and I didn't tell Forrest to solve, and Forrest made the statement that they weren't telling the solve because they didn't know who he was, etc. I don't know if he made that because I made that statement to him, but he definitely made that statement, and it wasn't about finding a chest. I wasn't saying to Forrest I found this chest. I was giving Forrest information about stuff that I'd found, and hoping that, being naive as I was, hoping that he would say, "Well done," but he didn't. So, true to his word, he wasn't helping people trying to solve the poem. You either did or you didn't. And some people said that he's told Barbara and Dave that they're not the solvers, and in a way, I don't agree with Forrest doing that. But I can understand, if some people are really getting on your nerves and you just want them to stop, then you tell them that they're wrong. But that does give them the chance to, make another solve. So that does help in a way, in my opinion. But I can understand, because he said, look how many emails this person sent me, telling me a colour or something. How does that help me, and how does that help her, and something like that. So I can understand why he would say, look, no, it's not you, but it does give them a help. Did you make it to the States for Boots and Brown? Yes, I did, and it was in Wyoming. I made it, I make no bones about it. I was in Casper, because that's where the airport was. And I was totally shocked that it was such a tiny airport, and there was no taxis or anything outside, and it was like, I'm lost. I'm not lost, but I'm thinking, how am I supposed to get from here to where a hotel where I want to stay? And luckily, things turned out okay, but it was a time when my luggage was ending up in Amsterdam or something in France and stuff like that. So, and I fell over and cut out my hand, and it wasn't a very good time for me, to be fair. But that was the time when I thought, this isn't about a chest. I sent Forrest a video of where I was, but on the realization that this wasn't about finding a chest of treasure, and I wasn't going to be able to pick up a chest of treasure, go to the airport, and just take it home with me. I basically, made a note to myself on my phone that I was an idiot. I learned two things today. I think I said, you're an idiot and you're an effing idiot. This is not how you do this. I was like on the, I don't know what you call it, a ridge, I suppose, overlooking or looking towards Casper Mountain in like the tall grass, not super tall. And I'm thinking, this isn't how you do it, because somebody could walk 12 feet from where I am and the chest could be there. I could walk right by it. So it's not about going out searching for a chest or trying to find a place. You'd have to go right straight to it. And if you went right straight to it, you take the chest and go in peace. And then what's the rest of the poem for? If you're just going to take the chest and go in peace, why does Forrest need to give title to the gold? And why does Forrest have to go? Why do you have to be braving in the wood after you've already got the chest, and all those things? So I realised the fact that I went there and did what I did helped me do the poem differently. But it wasn't a very good time. It wasn't one of my better days, and I was told, get off my land, because it's private. And I'm thinking, well, it doesn't say that on the map, and I'm on a road. How is the road private? So everything's private. the road and everything. I said, well, how are you supposed to get to the top of the mountain? Politely, because, I had a gun, I'm thinking, how are you supposed to get to the top? So we have to go the other side. You have to come up to the top from the other side of the mountain. I was like, well, how do you get to the other side of the mountain? I'm already near the top. Why can't you just let me go to the top? It's like, no, you have to get off. So he sent me down. It's like, oh, stuff you then. And you're, just down the road is not like my just down the road is 400 foot, 500 foot. You're just down the road is like 10 miles. So I was, it seemed a long time before I ended up halfway where I wanted to be. And then by the time I got to where I wanted to be, I had to come down because it said you have to be off the mountain by 6 o'clock. Like, cheers. So it was either go down now or take the consequences of whatever being, on the mountain after 6 o'clock was. And, I don't know if there's bears or whatever there are, mountain lions, whatever else there is out there that, probably wouldn't be too good for me to run into. And like I say, the taxis weren't easy to come by the way that I'm used to them, just down the road where there's houses and stuff. This is just like loads of empty space and roads. I'm thinking, oh no, how am I going to get back to where I was supposed to be and those sort of things. So it wasn't good. So anybody who goes out, treasure hunting, make sure that you work out how you're going to get to and fro from places and how far the distance really is, because on a map it doesn't look like nothing, but I can assure you now it's a lot. Takes up a lot of time going up and down, walking. So I'm missing a load of stuff, aren't I? I told you, I gave you the commit fraud video. It doesn't mean commit fraud. One of the words is help. Who's going to help me? Chaos or embroidery. So who's going to commit fraud? Chaos or embroidery. The fact, Forrest told us, you wanted the painting before you knew it was a forgery. So who's the fake? So Forrest is telling you, it may, things aren't what they seem. It may be a fake, but it's not. It's not. It's fake, but I'm telling you that it's fake, and you either buy it or you don't. But I'm telling you that it's fake. So how is it fraud if you're being told that it's fake? It can't be fraud if you're being told it's fraud. And all of that information, the bias video, the Santa Fe, New Mexico videos, the pictures in the lawyer's office, all of the information that you're getting in the chase is telling you things aren't what they seem. So it's not fraud, is it? If you're being told it's fraud, how is it fraud? You're being told it's fraud. So it can't be fraud. It can't be fake if you're being told it's fake. If you're being told it's fake, then it's the truth. You're being told the truth. The fact that you choose not to believe that and want to buy it because you think it's a real painting, that's up to you. Or you choose not to buy it. So this is the making it happen, as I've explained before. It's better to have 20 souls, 20 people out there claiming that there's a soul for each of them than one person being. And same for your soul. Would you rather have them say that you're the soul now without covering all the bases about protecting you? You'd be stupid if you said yes. You'd have to wait until Forrest makes it happen the way that it's supposed to happen. So to me, that's not fraud. That's just a person doing something that they said they would do in the best possible way in order to help whoever it was that, went through the cold and had the matter resolve and all the stuff that Forrest talked about. How does that become fraud? I don't know. You were told in the poem that you were told in the book originally there's more than one thing. There's a secret treasure. You were told about the treasure in the book, the chest, and Jack asked about that chest that's in the book that you were told about, that Forrest told you about in the book. Told about the chest, you saw a picture of it, and that's the stuff that was in the auction. And that's why Jack asked about the chest, because it's that chest and that stuff. So how is it fraud? you're being given the information and the information is coming true. The fact that you choose not to believe the information is not Forrest's fault. Here is information. Is that the chest that's in the front of the Chase book? Yes. Was that the chest you're looking for? No, of course it wasn't. You weren't looking for that chest. You were looking for the other chest that Forrest was talking about, or the other treasure that Forrest was talking about. So there's no fraud. You're being told the right information, you're just choosing to ignore it. In my opinion, I could be wrong. And I could be explaining it wrong. Redneck, hi Redneck. We'll talk about Montana now. I'm missing stuff. Yep, Eric's Land, thank you. Well, yeah, the olive jar. I didn't know Netflix were doing it all over again. People aren't tired of the solves. People are tired of the same people saying that their solve is correct, but they haven't had the solve explained to them, so it just seems like noise. Billing Airport probably closer. Yeah, probably was, but I'm a bit naive and the golf fever and all that. I just went to whatever, and Casper sounded like a big place, like a metropolitan place. So I thought it would have a big airport. Get there, go outside, there'd be coaches and taxis and all sorts of things. There was absolutely nothing. I was so shocked. Yeah, I did get to see a nice bison and a plane in there, jet type thing in there, and like you see it on the films and that, but just one person cleaning, just one person cleaning. There's nobody else. I was like, oh my God, what have I come to? Why is it empty? Why is there nobody here? Thing is, it ain't so bad, people. Oh, cheers, though. I'll take that on board. Yeah, but I did feel an idiot. I was looking at it, and everywhere I went, there was um, poem related stuff. Heavy loads and water high. There was no place for the meat. There was a blazes everywhere. Everywhere I was walking, it's like, well, that could be that. That could be that. That could be that. That could be that. God, this could be the solve right here. And I'm just walking, towards my solve, and I've already got another solve while I'm walking. I'm thinking this can't be the way to do it because I could do a solve now just by walking here. That could have been where warm water's hold. That could be no place for the meat. That could be the blaze. I could look down from there, and that could be it. That could be heavy lows and water high. And I'm thinking, no. And that was before I even got to where I wanted to get to. The BB gun, the Red Rider gun, is that what we're talking about? The aim being off and the larks and that. That took me to Cleveland. The BB thing. That was another solve. Forgot about. Hey there, Fleet. No, tell us any great. See that. Williams. Smiley face. Hey, bears. Do some chip. Yeah. Do some Super Mario soup. As in soup Mario. No, that wasn't. That's exactly what I didn't say. What I didn't say. Did say. However you want to interpret that. The whole point is, the Medium article came out. Pam says she thinks Forrest wrote it, so therefore Forrest must be the finder and the author, because Douglas said spare a thought for the author. So, whilst there is technically some shenanigans going on, it's not. Forrest hasn't put a chest out in the Rocky Mountains or something out in the Rocky Mountains to try and doom people out of it because their solve was right and they're being denied something. The solve is probably incorrect. Probably. I'm not saying the solve is wrong. The solve is probably incorrect. And Forrest is just making this happen the way that it's supposed to happen. But there's information put out that says, hang on a minute, listen to what's being said. If Pam is saying that Forrest wrote the article, then Forrest wrote the article. Possibly. So you have to bear that in mind. Then, on top of that, Douglas says spare a thought for the author. So if the author is Forrest, which is the information you're getting, then you're being told that Jack isn't the finder. Then you're being shown, on top of the Jack is not the finder in this Medium article, that you're being told it's a fake, but you're still buying it, believing it's real. But you're being told it's a fake, but you're still buying it. You still want to buy it because you think it's real. You're being told in the Medium article that Jack is not writing this, Forrest is writing this. I'm not saying I know that this is true or not. I'm just saying this is what you're being told. Then you're being shown the lawyer's office, and Jack has nothing to do with the chest. Forrest does. And Forrest is holding the chest, this is my chest. I still have hands on this chest. This is my chest, nothing to do with Jack. Just my opinion, just what I think, what I see and what I'm being told by the looks of it and all the information in what's on the table. So you're being told that Jack isn't the finder, right there, in all of that information that you've had. This is fake. This is fake, you still want to buy it, and you're buying it because you believe it's real. Even though Forrest says things aren't what they seem, and words don't mean what you think they do. And all of the information that he's given you, look, I'm telling you this. And the New Mexico video, it's like, well, it's obviously manufactured because Forrest is wearing a different shirt halfway through. And it's like, what? What? So, in my opinion, again, I could be wrong. But there's information in there that should make you think, hang on a minute, what's going on here? So it can't be fraud if you're being told, which is like selling the paintings. It's not fraud if you're being told, this is fake. Buy it because it's fake, not buy it because it's real. So that's why I think it's not fraud. If you're being told, if you're being told that what you're seeing and what you're hearing is not real, how is that fraud? You're being told it's not real, but you refuse to believe that you're being told it's not real. So therefore you go down the road of, this person has duped me. He put it out there in the first place. Forrest put it out there in the first place for you to find, if that's what you were looking for. How is there any sense that it makes no sense that he would just do you out of it when you found it? That makes absolutely no sense at all. None at all. What's the point of putting it out there for you to find and then saying, oh no, I don't really want you to find it, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to pretend somebody else found it, that you didn't. There's no point in that at all. Absolutely none. And then he would have to explain that. And there's no credibility in that at all. So therefore there's another reason. Has to be. You're not going to put it out there and then give it to somebody else and pretend that everybody didn't find it. Because you all have souls, credible souls. But as I've said before, you can't all be correct. There's no way. You can't all be correct. You can't all be the one person that solved it. You can't. You cannot be. So therefore you're being told that it's fake and you choose to want to buy it because you believe it's real, even though you're being told it's fake. And I don't mean fake, you weren't supposed to find something. I mean, there's more to it. There's more to it. And Forrest needed a vehicle to get it to I would say community, but I think it was more than that. When it happens, the globe will know. So being told it's fake and then believing that it's real is up to you, not to Forrest. Can't do any more than tell you, I'm selling you a painting, but it's fake. You choose to buy it because it's fake. Don't choose to buy it because it's real, because I'm telling you it's fake. It's then not fake, in my opinion. It can't be fake if you're being told it's fake. Oh, I'm missing loads of stuff. See, that's me going off on one, isn't it? Right. I don't believe it's fraud in any way, shape, or form. I just believe it's somebody trying to do something good and doing it, in the best possible way they can in order to do it correctly and not hurt well, yeah, not go up against whoever did what he said. Really cool. Well, Forrest said your effort will be worth the cold. So, if you think it's just crossing a river, then, I don't know, I can't help you. There has to be cold, though. There has to be, because Forrest says it. Well, in the desert, he said, and he buried them deep, blah, blah, blah. Even that is a hint and a clue to. When again. Selected a fake winner. No, the game isn't finished. That's the problem. You're not listening. The game is not finished. The game does not finish at Take the Chest and Go in Peace. It finishes at Title to the Gold. If your soul ends at Take the Chest and Go in Peace, that's your fault, not Forrest's. Forrest gives you title to the gold. If you don't want title to the gold and you stop at taking the chest, that's your fault, not Forrest's. And it's more than just the chest. You agree that it's more than just the chest. You agree the chest is just a lure. But then you say you found the chest and you want, what's on it. But you have to solve the poem. You have to follow the 9 clues precisely and do whatever was asked. Hi, Ghost Dancer. How you doing? Oh, he's answering the question. Good night. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with the information they're given. So if you're being told something is fake, literally being told, words don't mean what you think they do, and nothing is as it seems. That to me sounds like it's fake. Potentially, possibly. I'm not saying it is fake. I'm saying, look, here's information that says, try and understand what's going on. But you choose to say fraud and that, Forrest is a liar and Shiloh's a liar and blah, blah, blah. But no, something is happening and you're being told that, basically Forrest said he was going to protect the finder and that's what he's doing. In order to do that, it's better to have 20 souls and people having no idea what's going on than saying 5 leaves to Solver, everyone go and sue him, everyone go and try and get the money off him, everybody knock on his door for some money, everybody do this. No, you don't want him to do that. So, somebody says that you're the finder's 5 leaf, you're going to have loads of people all around you and you're not going to get away from it. They will find you, they will track you down and they will find you and they will try and claim whatever it is that you've said, whatever it is that you've done, or just, begging letters or whatever. The Lost Rock, that sounds a lot better, doesn't it? So many people testing and tricking the. I've said before, the AI cipher is only as good as the information you put in. So if you put in the information that helps you get the solve that you want, you're going to get the solve that you want. It's like programming the computer to stitch, your name across a t-shirt. It's going to stitch your name across a t-shirt because that's the information you put in. If you put in all sorts of information and then ask it to make a decision based on the information that you put in, and you put everybody else's name in there, and ask it to select the correct name that should be on there, it would choose a different name than yours. The government forced him to end it. I think Forrest was always going to give title to the gold, whatever title to the gold means. And you have to get to that point in the poem. So if this is the cold, then, or was the cold, then you have to be, the next bit is, if you are braving in the wood, I'll give you title to the gold. Now, if you're not braving in the wood, how are you expecting anything? I don't get it. It's not for the government say so. It's 420 somewhere. Yeah, I think, Bill's hit it on the head there. If you're claiming fraud, then you have no faith. And I don't want to, make it religious, but the whole point about the religion is you have to have faith, you have to believe. I think it's head and heart, one voice. If you're not prepared to ask a question like that or make that feeling known, then you're not going to get the answer. So Forrest's money must have hired the people, or Forrest manipulated the people, in order to make this happen. Not a bad thing, but a good thing. You can't run a chase for 13 years on just $1 million that you put out in the Rocky Mountains. There must be finances to keep it going. Well, I don't know how it works over there. You have your statutes of limitations and all of this stuff, and blah 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 blah. Legal precedents and trust legalities and probate. All of those things need to be done before the solver, find, or whatever it is awarded anything. Otherwise, you could spend however many years trying to stop people suing you before you've even got the money. That's just what I think, and I might be wrong. But, yeah, we were told straight on. Absolutely told straight on. Words don't mean what you think they do. What does that mean? Five Leaf. What does that mean? Words do not mean what you think they do. Nothing is as it seems. So it's not as it seems. So if it's not as it seems, it must be different or fake. And if words aren't what I think they are, then they must be different or changed or fake. So told straight on. Absolutely. Straight in front of your face. Told. Look at it differently. See the big picture. Use your imagination. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, told straight on. Absolutely. Straight to your face. Well, I was. I believe I was. And I'm explaining it, that I think I was. And, I could be wrong. And you could be right. But your right doesn't explain what's going on. My right potentially does. So I'd rather stick with mine than ask someone, well, what's going on? And you say, well, I don't know. I think they're screwing us over. That don't help me much. Haha, Blondie. Yeah, the good, bad, and the ugly. Love it. Well, them are the weird dreams that Forrest had. Forrest was able to. Thanks, Bill, for that piece of advice. Forrest would dream, but able to have his eyelids closed, but his eyes open. You have to see like that. You can still see in your imagination. You can still see. Hey, Trusted, how's it going? Happy July 3rd. Yeah, I just basically came on to wish you, beautiful American people out there, that, have a great Independence Day, but just spare a thought for, how that came about. Wasn't easy. No. And then, when it becomes national newsworthy, it will be over. And Forrest did say, about the aria that has to take place. Everything that Forrest says pretty much has to take place in order for it to um, come to a conclusion. The title to the gold conclusion, not just finding a chest. You don't need title if you just found a chest. It doesn't happen. Ask AI that. So look, if I find a chest and I took it and went in peace, why does Forrest need to give me title? No, AI will tell you. How can you take the chest and go in peace? You still need the title. So what you think you found, nothing is as it seems. And words don't mean what you think they do. So what do they mean? What if there are no illegal issues? So, 3 years, wait for legal issues to be resolved? I don't know how long it takes to resolve legal issues. But it was never an issue in the family when June didn't get paddled. There'd be no paddle up your creek. I wonder if the Grateful Dead ever went to a party. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. Yes, there is. No one's denying there's a cipher. But just because there is a cipher doesn't mean that it's the correct solve. It just means that there's a cipher and you can have a solve from that cipher. Just like you can get to Palisade Hill. Just like you can be lost in thought. Just like you can have Shakespeare's sonnet. I'm not being horrible to nobody. Just saying they're in there. Just like you can have a higher hand. Just like you can have gasoline and mensa. It's in the poem. I've showed you it's in the poem. You can have all of that stuff in there and it will give you a solve. But Forrest said all of those things that he mentioned will not lead you to it. I believe that's the case. But I believe whilst they lead you to it, they don't lead you to it. And whilst people say there's no 9 mile hole solve, yes, there is. Absolutely, there is. There's a 9 mile hole solve. And it may just be information that helps you understand what the solve is. Or it may be 9 mile hole. The whole point is it was a lure for something bigger. And I don't know if Forrest knew that it would be solved or not knew that it would be solved. I'm under the, under the, not assumption, reasoning. I'm under the reasoning that because there was something more, that's what the title to the gold is. Well, going by your solve, yeah, possibly everything's going to plan. But there are other people's souls that everything would appear to be going to plan as well. Shiny metal things. Yes, you do. That is global historically considered epic. Well, epic is poem. Epic is other things. I went through the word epic, or I went for a synonym that had the word epic in it. Just look up synonym of epic, and you will see that words don't mean what you think they do. Well, doesn't that tell you something? Fire belief, doesn't that tell you something? You reckon they're spending more money for less money. Maybe they're spending more money for something bigger. Yellowstone, hi Steve Klein. Yellowstone doesn't exist. I don't know what that statement means. I think that was the plan. That was the plan to, chaos is going to help, isn't it? Who will help me? Chaos embroidery. Well, if you have a simple, straightforward solve straight away, then that doesn't help. But if you have chaos and 20 different solves that could potentially be the answer, where do you go to if you're the government, where do you go to claim, something happened? You can't, because there's too many people to actually say, he's right or wrong. Only Forrest will know, and that's all that matters, really. Forrest will know, and he will be able to make it happen like it's supposed to be, and the solver will not have to worry about, the downside of, being the solver. And if that's you, Five Leaf or Trusted or Bill or whoever it is, they won't have to worry, because Forrest made sure by doing all of this that you call fraud, by doing all of this to protect the solver, you won't have to worry, whoever the solver is, because Forrest has gone to great lengths to do that. 98% inaccurate, only one is 80% accurate. Uh-oh. Oh, right, I see what you're saying now. So out of all the people in the chase, 98% are inaccurate, and one is 8/10 correct. Yeah, I believe there's another cipher in the poem. I believe there's more than one cipher, and I believe there's a cipher in the ID card, and I believe there's a cipher in the message that you can use that says, repeat, please, breaking up, blah blah blah. Another cipher there to do with, like, 10/4 sort of stuff. In my dream. Get out of my dream. Get out of my dream and into my car. Little money, lots of heart. Hi Nikki, how you doing? Thank you all for popping in. This was going to be a quick stream. It doesn't ever turns out to be a quick stream. Just, wanted to say happy July 4th, because you would have already celebrated it by the time I get round to. That's the trouble with time travel. I'm ahead of you, but I'm behind Davy B. He's already, he's already in July 4th. So if he was American, he'd be celebrating it now. So I would have already said happy July 4th to Davy B. But he's Australian, so no. And I'm English, so no. But I will sleep, and while I'm sleeping and, at work, you will be celebrating July 4th. So I thought I'd say it now. Yeah, but you're not listening. Forrest says words don't mean what you think they do, and nothing is as it seems. But you're making your beliefs on those words that don't mean what you think they do. So you have to change those words. You have to, because they don't mean what you think they do. And you're not prepared to change them. You're prepared to believe that those words that you believe are true. And Forrest is saying they don't mean what you think they do. So therefore, maybe if you put in the words that are the true words that mean what they do, maybe you get a different answer. Greg, just living all those who are swept to secrecy. Yeah, I believe, they either are or they don't know everything. I swore myself to secrecy. I became a friend of Forrest through the emails that I sent him, even though he didn't send any back, and with the interviews and that he did, got to know Forrest as much as anyone can know through interviews and emails that he wrote and scrapbooks that he wrote and those sort of things. So Forrest may not be the exact person that I think of as a friend, but he's not a bad person. So why would I not want to be friends with someone who isn't bad? Rub it in at the beach. We can't see. Poem Matrix. Yeah, that is a Matrix, the poems. And that is something else that Forrest said, the one that can make the lines cross, and he can best, adjust and adapt and, move with confidence, and sure for the one that did. And, you know, how has that got anything to do with the cipher? It hasn't. So I have to throw it out. I have to throw it out, not you have to throw it out. I do, because they don't have anything to do with what Forrest said. You don't shift, drift, and adjust with a cipher. You don't move with confidence. You don't put one foot on top of the other. You don't make all the lines cross. All of those things have to come into the soul, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. But it's not fake. It's just a way of making it happen. It's only fraud in the sense that you're choosing to believe the painting you want to buy is real, even though you've been told it's not real. Yeah, that word, compartmentalization. You know the job you're doing, but you don't know the job everybody else is doing. So you tend to argue, even though you're doing the same job, or no, working for the same company, or working for the same person. I keep saying to you, Five Leaf, even if you are the correct solver, you won't know anything until everything's safe for you to know something. But while you're telling me one thing, Trusted is telling me something else, and he's the correct solver. So who is the correct solver? And then Dave, Man from the East, is correct, and Barbara's correct, and Treasure Poem's correct, and everybody's correct. Well, you can't all be correct. It's impossible for you to all be correct, even though your solves are brilliant. Even though they're brilliant, you can't all be correct. So rather than trying to prove Forrest a fraud, try to prove why you all have correct solves, because you can't. So therefore, you either have to prove everybody else's solve is wrong, or prove 100%, take your solve apart, and prove 100% that yours is correct. You can't do it. You can't do it. Trust me, you can't do it. If you use everything that Forrest said, in your solve, it falls apart. That's how Forrest made it. I have no reason not to believe Fenn's, and I believe I got the solve location correct. So I'm not running around winning and making false accusations. Because there was maybe a point in time in the book, or whatever, that you're waiting for something to happen. So you're waiting for something to happen, something to end the chase. The other solvers think they solved it and the chase has ended. And, that could be the difference between the two. But, like I say, you have to prove beyond a shadow of doubt that your solve is 100% correct. I means you're. That sounds like mid-year. So that was another thing that I found strange, that Forrest said, basically told you. I think it's funny. Not funny because, so he'd say, really bad language. So is he trying to say that you need a different word in this area, or words in this area, to understand what I'm saying here? Because he's saying which is something different to what you believe he's saying. So the fact that he's saying and even in that last video saying what does he mean? If he's saying words don't mean what you think they do, then what does he mean when he's saying something? So you have to try and understand what he does mean. No, I don't believe that's the case, I believe. Yes, there would be a soul that's undeniable. Absolutely. There has to be. Without the embellishment. Yeah, there has to be, Nikki. Sense of reason there. There has to be a soul that, when put against everything that Forrest says, You can't say it's not. Can't say it's not. And I found that even though my souls, and they're the same souls that everybody in the chase has, I've seen those souls and I put them against what Forrest says, and it's like, oh, same with try the wheel and everything else. I look at it and go, well, Forrest said this, so that means, oh, it can't be, because he says, solve the first two clues, walk right by the chest. So everything that Forrest has said is to aid the finder. If you don't understand those statements, then you're not the finder. That's how I see it. Not just because I think I am, but because Forrest said he did it to aid the finder. So you have to understand what he's saying. Otherwise, there's no point that he said it. What's the point of Forrest saying the information is to aid the finder, not the seeker, if it doesn't help the finder? It has to. And therefore, if you're the finder, you understand that information. If you don't understand that information, how can you be the finder? So that's another thing you have to put into your soul. Does that statement include me in it? Can I understand what Forrest is saying? 100%. Do I know what he's saying when he says these things? And if I don't, that means it's not me. Zozo Rock, Nicky Swan, 9 clues, conclusion, the solution, 9 Mile. Yeah, there's all 9. Cape Ray finished 9th. There's a coincidence. Cape Ray finished 9th. But what is a 9 mile hole? No, the whole point is no one can prove it. That's the chaos helping. At some point, if somebody proves that they are the correct solver, then their solve will be gone over. And Forrest had to make sure there were no legal issues. So, what's better than, what's better to have one correct solve that could be held accountable to the government, or 20 correct solves that can't be held accountable? Unless Forrest chooses to, answer for everybody what that answer is, which he already knows, which he said in the poem. Exactly. The statement is it won't take you there, but they're offered as good solutions. So therefore, they are part of any part of some is better than no part of any. So if you have all of those solutions, then you have to the recipe that Forrest was talking about, and you have that catalyst and etc. etc. You have to understand those statements. They're there for a reason. I'm telling you, the words that he used were words don't mean what you think they do. How is that a fraud? I'm telling you, the painting is fake. What do you think the story is about? I'm telling you, the painting is fake. You want to buy it because you believe it's real. I'm telling you, it's fake. I'm telling you, these words don't mean what you think they do, but you're still insisting that they do. You're still insisting that they do, Five. Why? Forrest told you they don't. So stop using those words that you think mean what you think they mean, because they don't. And stop thinking that everything as it seems, because Forrest said it's not as it seems. So the painting here, this painting that you're buying, it's fake. It's fake. Do you still want to buy it if it's fake? No? You still want to believe it's real? Well, buy it because you think it's real. But I've told you it's fake. I told you it was fake. But buy it if you think it's real. But don't come back to me and say it's fake later, because I already told you it was fake. But if you want to buy it because you think it's real, buy it. There it is. Here's a painting that's fake. But you believe it's real? Buy it. But don't come back to me afterwards, because I already told you it's fake. That's what Forrest says. The words don't mean what you think they do. And nothing is as it seems. Stop believing that you're right, that they are what you think they are, and everything is as it seems. Stop believing that, and then tell AI those bits of information. I can't say nobody's incorrect. I can only say that the information that Forrest gives tells you nothing is as it seems, and words don't mean what you think they do. And if you keep believing that that's the case, you'll have the same answers. Those answers you have won't change. But you can't claim a refund because the painting's fake. You were told it was fake. Yeah. Was that Hooters? Bill's starting to sound like Dave. Exactly. Who's the fake? Thanks, Nikki. But people won't listen to words that Forrest said, and they won't listen to the words that I use, and that's okay. But it's annoying that people don't listen to Forrest. He tells you, in no uncertain terms, that just think about it differently. Look at the big picture, etc., etc., etc. And then people just say, no, he's a liar. Forrest is a liar. It's like he's not a liar. He's telling you. He's telling you. But the thing is, you choose not to trust Forrest, even though he's the one person you should trust, because he's the person giving you the information. He's telling you the information. You're just not prepared to believe the information that he's telling you. Why do you think he had the chest in the office? Why do you think he had the chest? Nothing to do with Jack. Jack was nowhere near the chest. Forrest had his hand on the chest. What does that mean when you have your hands on something? Why was Forrest going for the chest? There's no need for Forrest to go for the chest. And that could have been Forrest putting stuff in the chest. Or it doesn't have to be Forrest taking stuff out. You believe what you want to believe with the information that you're given, but it could totally be different than what you think. Best quantum law must have. I don't know where that came from, Trusted. Says Trusted. Nobody's trying to dupe you. They're telling you how it is. You just have to not believe that you know more than they do. You can't know more than they do if the words that you used don't mean what you think they mean. So your assumptions of everything that you've heard is incorrect, because Forrest told you they were incorrect. He said they don't mean what you think they do. So if you think up means up and down means down, it doesn't. So therefore you have to think differently. It doesn't mean what you think they do. He's told you. And things aren't what they seem. He's told you that as well. And if you're going on the assumption that those words are exactly meant how they're meant, and everything that you see and hear is exactly how it is, you won't get the right answer because you're putting the wrong information in the right context. Where's trust? Where's trust is what we So, where's trust? Forest trust. So, are you saying that you're trusting Forrest or Forrest trusting other people? How do we get onto fake boobs? I don't know if you're part of Chasing or not 5, but I just don't understand why you have a total distrust of something that is super obvious. Anyway, I'm an alien. I'm an alien. No, I just think that, the fact. Look, I went to America because I thought nobody could beat the solve that I had. I was 100% sure. And whilst I was 100% sure that I had the correct solve, I was 100% sure that I didn't. Once I realised I didn't have a 100% correct solve. It was impossible to have a 100% correct solve if you did more than Forrest told you. If you did more than Forrest said, which is use the poem, originally you only needed the poem, then you needed the poem with Thrill of the Chase, and then gloves, torch, sandwich. If you don't understand all of those things in your soul five leaf or trusted or anyone else, Bill, everybody in here, if you don't understand what the gloves for, the sandwich is for, the torch is for, if you don't understand all those things that Forrest said, the hot water effect, the patina, if you don't understand that in your soul, then why has Forrest used that information? Bearing in mind that the information he was giving was for the finder or the solver, or however he mentioned it. Trusted. No. Trusted believes that his solve is correct, five, just like you do. Because he doesn't agree, doesn't make him incorrect. And because it doesn't make him gaslighting you or anything. It just means that he believes his solve is correct. Dave believes his is correct. The fact that they don't agree doesn't mean that they're trying to upset you or anything. It just means that they think that you're totally wrong because they're totally right. And no one, when, if, however, will be able to prove a correct solve unless they use everything that Forrest has said. And that I do believe. I think Forrest gave the information that says, if you have the correct solve, everything that I've said, even though I said, probably won't help them, they rang me up and said, Forrest, my car's broken down. And then Forrest gives them an answer. That answer that you laughed at is part of, understanding what he's saying. I asked her if she had a plane. These people are offering to marry me or something or other. Hello, alien, Mr. Pirate. How you doing? Have you got one of those UFOs for me? It's called a ship without a plank that I have to walk on. So there's no need to get personal. You don't agree, and that's fine. You don't agree, and the only time you will agree is if and when the simple solution comes out. That to me is a reason why I choose not to do those incredibly difficult work it out solves, because it's got to be simple. People are going to say, man, why don't I think of that? That's simple. That's really easy. Why didn't I think of that? You have to have a solve like that. And if you haven't got a solve like that, then make it like that. It's got to be simple. It's got to be really simple. Really, 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 really simple. Like you read the poem and it tells you the answer. That's it. That's simple. You read that first, begin it where, and you know the answer. You read that and you know the answer, and you carry on knowing the answer, and you verify the answer, and it's simple, 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 simple. That's the solve. That's how simple it is. And if your solve isn't that simple, then Well, don't move to the beat of just one drum. There you go. Thanks, Steve. What? Everybody's going to believe that their solve is correct, and if you don't, then you shouldn't have that as a solve. But you can't expect other people to either understand it or believe it, because that's not how their mind works. They won't understand it. It doesn't matter how much information you give, you would have to explain your solve from the very beginning, every detail, to the very end in every detail, and even then they might not understand it or agree with it, because they will think their solve is easier and better. It's not dishonest. And I don't feel that anybody's left over yet. I, you know, he told searchers that I was good with an axe. Well, he did mention an axe. Look at the word axe. That'll surprise you. Yeah, it was all voluntary. I've tried to explain it that the chest was Forrest to put out there and to take back if he so chose. But it makes absolutely no sense if people are saying that they got screwed over and Forrest screwed them over, because there's no reason, none, not one reason why somebody would put it there for people to find and then screw, I don't know, 20 odd people who think they're the solver. You can't all be the solver. You can't all be the solver. Somebody has to admit their solve is incorrect. Out of all of these people that say they solved it, if there's 20 people that are saying they're the solver, it's not possible. I'm telling you now, it's not possible. So either prove the other 19 people are wrong, or have a look at your own solve and see if you're as right as you think you are. Because I tell you now, there are holes in everybody's solve, and I found out the hard way how that happens. And if you're not prepared to be honest with yourself, you're not going to find that hole. You're not going to find it. The only time you'll realise you're wrong is when the answers are given, unless you're part of making it happen. Like a ship with a crew and a plank. It's good to read your Pirates. I was going to say Forrest, sorry. Pirate. Crafted, conjured, built on. Yeah. So part of that has to be in the solve as well. It's crafted, it was built one foot or the other, felt like an architect, shift and drift and adjust, move with confidence, right straight to it. Success as an omniscient guru. 500 miles, 300 miles west of Toledo. Did the hot water effect patina, hope out of depression, toe to toe, outside for elbow room. I mean, what does that mean? Look up elbow room. What is outside for elbow room? Nobody uses that sort of wording, but it's used for a reason. But that's just it. Nobody's supposed to be anybody. You're supposed to be learning from the teacher. It wasn't about beating anybody to anything. It was about trying to understand Forrest. And even in the bit that you hadn't even tried to find Forrest. If it comes back, I'm going to throw myself on that chest. My last gasping breath. Why did he say that? I'm going to throw myself on that chest. What does that mean? In the earlier draft, if you've been wise and found the bones, no, something like that. Take the chest and leave my bones. Why did Forrest say that? Well, there was no need to say an earlier version of the poem. But why did he say that? Nor me. Well, somebody asked me, do I remember meeting Forrest? I'm like, what? No. Unless he was dressed up one of them fake faces or something. Problem is not telling the soul. It's on repair of ears properly connected. Look, we all have correct solves, but that's an impossibility. Now, I'm prepared to admit that everybody's solve is in the poem. I can read it, I can see it. I'm prepared to admit that. And I'm prepared to admit that there is a simple and there is a diabolical and there is a difficult but not impossible. And I'm prepared to admit that I don't think that it ends at take the chest and go in peace, because the rest of it is talking about him going. And that's exactly what happened. And why do you have to be braving in the wood after you've already taken the chest? So even if you found the chest, there must be something in the chest that leads you to the second part of the poem. And if you're not prepared to admit that, I don't know why not. Because everything after take the chest and go in peace is totally separate to why is it that I must go? Even to the point that it's, so why is it that I must go as I have gone alone in there? So now you're going alone in there, possibly. So why is it that I must go alone in there as I have gone alone in there? Back at the beginning, find yourself where you started, blah, blah, blah. There's so much more. Got to go. Yes, Luck, thank you for coming. I've got to go as well because it's 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to me. Thanks, Luck. I appreciate you listening to me waffle on. Earth shattering. I hope the Earth doesn't shatter. Well, Forrest pretty much said, what was it? If you know where it is, go out in the trees and get it. So at that point in 2019, no, sorry, no. Don't care what anybody says. If Forrest is telling you, if you know where it is, go out in the trees and get it, you haven't already found it. Or you may have found it, but you haven't gone to get it. Or whatever that, could imply. The fact is, you have to know what the trees are. If you haven't got no trees, or don't understand the meaning of that statement, no. Like I say, 5, you have to go out in the trees and get it. That's what Forrest said. Before that, two things have either happened. They got there and the chest wasn't there, somebody had already beat him, or uh, Forrest is a liar or a fraud or something. He didn't put it out there. I don't believe the cipher is a feat of, felt like an architect. I don't believe that's lends itself. The cipher lends itself to that statement, or that it's one foot on top of the other, or that it's shifting and drifting and adjusting, or that it's all of those things that Forrest said. And whilst I believe it can be found there, I don't believe it's found in that way. I believe it's a different method. And that's INFJ, that's it. That's what I'm saying. You have to put all the information that Forrest gave us. CNN is in the poem as well, and so is K-Pro's, shows and videos, and so are other statements that Forrest has made. But the whole point is, he made that statement. Forrest made that statement that it would be CNN. That in itself, that one statement says, this is big. This is massive. It's going on CNN. That's where he's going to make it announced. And he didn't do that. And he didn't do it with all those people that gave him emails that said what they thought the solve was. But the statement itself said the cipher wouldn't lead you to it. So what makes you think that your cipher did, even though Forrest said it wouldn't? I can't say you're wrong, Five Leaf, but all I can say is, there's information that Forrest gave for everybody. I believe that the information that he talked about, I think he might have been talking to Troy when he talked about, punctuation won't help. A blind man can't find the chest. Making statements for everybody that their soul might be it's in water, not underwater. That their soul that they gave him is incorrect, and maybe you should, try and find a different one. Now, I could be wrong. That's just the way I see it. I think Forrest was telling people that their soul was incorrect as and when he received information. And that statement about, head pressures, foot pounds, blah, 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 was about all those people that had those different types of souls. And they were incorrect. They wouldn't lead you to the place. Yeah, nobody knows. The person who solved it could have been given stuff. And all of this is to prevent that person being known, until it's able to be said. So, Brent John talks about his letter. Can't remember who it was. Sorry about the book, Breckenridge book. The girl with the child in the car. There are other people involved in this chase that could potentially have solved it and been awarded title to the gold because they solved it, and now they're just waiting for the ending of the protection that's required. Hey, Shargo. No, you see, there you go. Again, incorrect information. So the treasure is found, that we were told. The chest was found, we were told. But the chest was auctioned. The treasure wasn't auctioned at all. The gold was auctioned. The chest that was in the Thriller's Chase book went to auction at Heritage, which is what was said in the poem. That would happen. So the chest went to auction, as it should have done. The Heritage auction was in the poem. The Tesoro Sagrado was in the poem. The solicitor from the Tesoro Sagrado was in the poem. It was written way before it happened. 2010. All that information is in the poem. And it happened how it's supposed to. Forrest is right. He's making it happen the way that it's supposed to. The cipher isn't all that can prove. I'll tell you that now. The cipher is not the only thing that can be proved in that poem. I will bet you anything. Anything that I can afford. I'll bet you anything that I can afford that the cipher is not the only thing that can be proved in that poem. See, that's another thing I don't get, trusted. Why, if Fively thinks that he is the solver, is he letting Dave Woodard claim it? No, Wig, it's not why I'm here either. So, again, the chest has been auctioned. The chest that was in the front of the chase has been auctioned. You have to be careful about what you're talking about, because Forrest was, that chest, a chest, the treasure. What was Forrest talking about? And what is a simple solve that, People say, why didn't I think of that? And what is a difficult but not impossible solve? They're separate things, and they have to be, because Forrest asked the question in the 2013 Moby Dickens, does anybody know my secret treasure? And he wrote in the book, a secret treasure. Well, hang on, you've told us about the treasure. We know what it is. We know you hid it in the Rocky Mountains. So how is it secret? So something is secret, as is, the secret of that place came back to me, a couple of years after the Vietnam. So Forrest is given information. You're choosing to ignore it. I don't know why, but you're choosing to ignore it. Now, either you're part of Chase Inc. or Gold Fever is that strong that you're not prepared to listen to simple statements. There is a secret treasure that Forrest wrote about in the Thrill of the Chase book, that there was one, and he said it in the interview. Does anybody know about my secret treasure? Well, no, because it's secret. You haven't told us nothing about it. You've only told us about a chest that you hid in the Rocky Mountains. So what is secret? What's the secret treasure you're on about, Forrest? And why did you mention it in the Thrill of the Chase book? And why does Jack say, is that the chest that's in the Thrill of the Chase book? Is it because it's not the secret treasure? If you're not prepared to listen to the information, how are you going to get the right answers? And if you're not prepared to put those answers into, your conclusions, I don't know. Here must be Ghost Answer Radio doing that. When people. No, I think it came a long way when I was saying that cipher does exist, in the sense that Forrest didn't say it didn't exist. So your misinterpretation of the information that Forrest gives is what leads to the confusion. The interpretation of it is they do exist, they are offered as good solutions, but they won't lead you to the treasure chest. That's the interpretation, or paraphrase version of it. It does exist, it's offered as a good solution, but it won't do what you want it to do. What's think I know, so did they. So everybody was given the information from the start. The information is that you need is in the poem, so therefore everybody got it in 2010. And Forrest tried to give the statements. That's why they all sound the same. That's why they're scripted, because it's how you find that information that he's given you, and the information that he's given is to aid the finder, not the seeker. So therefore, once you find the information, you then become a finder of something, and the rest of it helps you. In my opinion, could be wrong. I remember the early days. Yeah, I've got that. I've showed you the other cipher. I've showed you in my videos. You're not prepared to see it. And it's simple, child cipher thing. 1 is A, 2 is B. It's simple. And, it's not how you find a simple solve. A simple solve is reading the poem. Like Forrest said, just read what the poem says, game over. You can, end game, entity, those words came up in the chase for a reason. You can read that poem. You need second stanza, it's over. Read it. Read what the poem says. AI is a brain, and if you put the wrong information into a brain, that information that the brain sends out is going to be wrong. I'd rather not talk about that, Frank. Like I say, you have to be human first, and then the information that you're given comes second. So, not going to talk about what I think about. Um, like I say, there's some things in the chase that, even if they are the way to make it happen, are, in my opinion, probably a line cross, even though it's supposed to be part of something. No five leaf. How can it be to dismiss the cipher? I don't know how many times I've said it just in this video. They are offered as good solutions. There is no intent to dismiss the cipher. Talking to other searchers who dismiss it because you say that it's a solve is one thing, but nobody's trying to dismiss it. Happy July 4th, MJ. How are you? Are you a finder? Good on you. I'm glad you are. I think lots of us are. We're all finders. Yeah, I came on to wish you happy 4th for tomorrow because I won't be able to wish you happy 4th for tomorrow. You would already be enjoying it. Okay, it's a secret. Shh, I won't say nothing then after I've already said it. I won't. And you already wrote it. And do not have sense. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Your opinion of my soul is no different than my opinion of yours. The whole point is, it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what the truth is. What Forrest has answers that he already knows to. That's all that matters. And me doing that is proving there is a cipher in there, different to your cipher, and different to the cipher that's in the ID card, and different to the cipher that's in the poem that talks about the CB chat, that talks about repeating again. That's different to the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do music that's in the poem. They're all different and they're all good, offered as good solutions, but they won't lead you to the treasure chest, is what Forrest said. And, I believe that. So I trust Forrest and I trust the poem. I have no reason not to. A heat of gold. Well, I always thought that Forrest was a miner or a pirate, or what was the word I used the other day? I can't remember. Oh, commit fraud, was it? Yes. Commit fraud is a pirate. So, and commit fraud is help. Who will help? Who will commit fraud? Chaos or embroidery? And you're saying that we're not being told. I told you. I gave you the synonyms to commit fraud, and one of those words was help. Who will commit fraud? Chaos or embroidery? Those words don't mean what you think they do. So if you think who will help me, chaos or embroidery, is who will help me, chaos or embroidery, maybe not. Maybe it's who will commit fraud, chaos, which is what's happening now, or embroidery. Now, you don't have to believe that five, but that's a true statement. That is a synonym. And if words don't mean what you think they do, then maybe you need to change the word help to something else. Who will pirate me? Chaos or embroidery? Who will, and all the other words that were there. It's not about that. It's not about whether Forrest can do wrong or not. It's about employing the information that Forrest gave. If you wanted to learn your 7 times table and you were in school and the teacher says to you, listen, the word 7 doesn't mean 7. It actually means 9. Are you going to use the word 7 to get your 7 times table? Or are you going to use the word 9 to get your 7 times table? You're going to use the word 9 as a 7 because that's what you're told by the teacher. Doesn't matter what you think. Absolutely doesn't. It doesn't. 7 is not 7. You were told 7 is not 7. It's 9. So therefore, use a 9 as a 7 and do 7 times table with the word 9. Because that's what you're told by the teacher. Whether you like it or not doesn't matter. And it may be fraud, and it may be shenanigans, and it may be everything that you don't like. But if the teacher tells you that you're not using the word 7 to do 7 times table, you're using the word 9 to do 7 times table, then you're going to use the word 9 to do 7 times table, whether you like it or not. Which is a bit similar to life is a game of poker. Happiness is the pot. You're dealt 4 cards and a joker, and you play whether you like it or not. The information is there, you just choose not to hear it. I don't think he is. I just think he believes the information, and I can't say it's wrong, but I can say that the information that you're using is not the information that Forrest has given. Hey Asterix, how are you? Yes, not all who wander are lost, with an O. Zozo, do you have to? No, it was better the other way. Those who deep think are not lost, which is, tantamount to what Forrest was saying. Using deep thinking and logic, could solve the poem. What does that mean? Yeah, you didn't have to, spell it in capital letters like that, but naughty you are. But I think wonder, with an O is good. I absolutely do believe that. I think those who think about where they're going and what they're doing are never lost because they plan ahead. And that's a bit of a contradiction for what Forrest said. Don't make plans because antagonistic to freedom. But if you're going to make something happen the way that it's supposed to, it's planned. It's it's that simple. It's planned, and antagonistic to freedom or not, it's planned, and therefore you have to. If you're going to make it work, you have to follow through with those. Bearing in mind that you have to have um, an out or an ace in the hold or whatever Forrest chooses for that to mean. Excuse me. But that just points you out to them now, doesn't it? If they're watching you, you're the one with the tinfoil hat on. They're not going to lose you, are they? Where did he go? Oh, there he is. He's the one with the tinfoil hat on. I don't need a list. It's just anybody with a tinfoil hat now. Yeah, but who is that person? Why couldn't that person be Davy B or Street or Dave Man from the East or somebody gave him information that led him to believe that they had the answers. Now, for me, I would say that information came from the book. There are hints in the book that will help with the clues in the poem. So somebody tells him they have this piece of information and it leads me to this place because I use this hint from the book. And Forrest goes, oh, you know, very interesting. So that information should have come from the book to tell Forrest that you know the answer, or potentially know the answer, because of this hint that was in the book. If your solve is not coming from anything from the book, how can it be correct? If the hints are there to help, and if you know the solve, you know what the hints are. If you don't know what the hints are in the book, then it's hard to believe that you know what the solve is. And I don't say that I'm correct, I just say those are my thoughts. The information that Forrest gave was to aid the finder, so therefore the finder should know. Forrest didn't say that a cipher would take you to the place. What makes you think that Forrest said a cipher would take you to the place? He absolutely said it wouldn't. So why would you think that it would? I don't get it. The statement is that it won't take you to the place, so therefore it doesn't take you to the place. It doesn't. It's just a good solution. Forrest mentioned that people were getting positive results. Yeah, they get positive results, but they weren't getting the right or correct solution. They were just getting positive results with the methods they use. Led him to believe, didn't he say precisely? Yes, he said precisely. Okay, he said precisely. So the person gave Forrest the information that led him to believe that the solver who gave him the information had a precise understanding of the information. Is that better? I was basically saying that Forrest, not it didn't lead the person who gave Forrest the information. It led Forrest to believe that this person was precise. The clues in my poem led him to the precise spot. Yeah. I couldn't put it better myself, asterisk. You you read those first words. I don't know why people don't listen to Forrest and take on board what he said, but you read those first words, and he gave you the answer because he said the first clue, begin it where warm water's hot. You read those words, and you know where to go, and that's where you go. So, by that I mean Forrest said you solve the first two clues, you're 50% there, metaphorically speaking. You solve the first two clues, it's academic after that. Solve the first two clues, walk right by the chest. Little girl from India can't get closer than the first two clues. If I told you the home of Brown, you go right straight to it. Blah, 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 blah. Forrest gave you all the answers. Now, if your answers is not the answer on those two clues, and you need more, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place, in my opinion. And my opinion is based on Forrest's words. Touche. That's just to say, list. There goes my. We'll pitch in and get your Barbie dream house. As long as I can have Barbie. He hasn't pulled the treasure. Hey, Jeep Girl. There's a name I'd love to see. Good to read you. A great example of a community, beautiful heart, beautiful mind person, Jeep Girl Jody. Thanks for being here. There we go. Only because you won't listen. We don't go round and round if you stop to listen. You can't have more than one correct solve. So therefore, maybe someone else is correct, or if you are correct, you have to prove that those others that say they're correct, like Dave, aren't. You can't prove yourself otherwise. You can't. You have to prove that everybody else is incorrect in order to prove that you're correct. You can't just prove you're correct. It won't happen. Hey, JK. I didn't know you were in here. Sorry if I missed you. Ooh. Not, but okay. You know, like I say, if you won't listen to Forrest, then I can't help you. It's all good. I work weekends, so it wasn't that good. But if you believe chaos, do the silver for us. Marriage. Yeah, you can't have both, though, can you? The marriage, it doesn't work. If chaos is committing fraud, and embroidery is not, then embroidery must be the truth, surely. If chaos is the fraud part of it, which is cold, in my opinion. Yeah, I just came on really to wish you people, happy 4th of July, Independence Day, and just a spare of thought for how it came about and those people that made it work. A bit like Forrest making it happen, and you have to have faith. Those people then they had to have faith in everything that they were doing, and the people that they were representing had to have faith in them too. Weekend is still going. No, it's Tuesday now for me. Weekend's gone. I'm looking forward to the next one. Yeah, I just see Forrest saying that chaos is going to help because what if there's no legal issue? At some point, embroidery will make the difference, but it's a weird sort of marriage if one's chaos and fraud and the other's truth. Um, Forrest said, it's misrepresenting the product. And they talked about advertising being the best way to do things, the most, good to make money because of it. Well, chaos may be part of the catalyst. You had to have a recipe, you had to, blah, 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 enough catalyst and get this or something, whatever was said. Do off. Is my blue toenail polish. It's a chaos blue, is it? So you're at fault for all of this chase problem, are you? You've used chaos on your toes. And you're the toe to toe person. You've probably got your left foot and your right foot next to each other. And they're blue chaos. That is chaos. So, marry the clues, meld, poker, gin, whatever. Marriage, divorce, foster, adopt. From my start in the chase, I did exactly the same as everybody else. Thought, right, I can solve this, it's easy enough. And then went about having hundreds and hundreds of souls. Literally, I'm not kidding. There's hundreds and hundreds of souls. And they're like a couple of hours, here's a soul, another couple of hours, here's another soul, another couple of hours, here's another soul. And it's like, you can't have that many souls. You can't, if there's that many souls, this is not the right way to do it. And then you can do, the try the heel or try the wheel variant, and then you can do the colors, the numbers, anagrams. individual letters, full words, 2 lines, 3 lines at a time, 4 lines at a time. The law wheel, but it said try the law wheel, which is, grid it out, not grid it out, circle, 4 quarters, Montana, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, put the information that Forrest said and then whittle it down as Forrest did, some whittling. There are many solutions in that poem, and according to Forrest, they're all offered as good solutions, which means they're not going to give you the answer. Something specific, something precise has to give you the answer, which is what Forrest said. Follow the news, 9 clues precisely, and that, lead to the end of the rainbow, my treasure, and that could be we. End of rainbow is W, the is E, and treasure is E. So therefore you get the word we. Does it help you find the treasure? Possibly. Is it any part of some? Absolutely. Forrest given information, and that information helps you understand that you might be doing the right thing. Shoes, they help. Finding the shoes help. The information that Forrest gave you, while it seems abstract and nothing to do with anything, is to aid the finder. It's as simple as that. The information is to aid the finder. Once the finder understands the relevance of the information that Forrest has given, then he's able to go right straight to it. And by right straight to it, I mean the information that Forrest has given, plus should be able to go right straight to whatever was hidden. So the solve is simple, in my opinion, as Forrest said, really simple. And yet difficult but not impossible, depending on the information that Forrest was giving you and what he was talking about. I did not. I did not read into it. Well, to me, chaos is the cold. Your effort will be worth the chaos. And the embroidery is, in my opinion, the bringing it all together out of the cold. So once you're out of the cold, what brings it all together will be being brave and in the wood and getting title. That's just the way I see it. But I could be wrong. I'm not averse to, admitting that I could be wrong. We are the lollipop killers. Where were they? We represent all kids loaded. Weird, freaky dolls. So they were called dolls, were they? Yeah, they were dolls. Yeah, the big dolls. On your blue, on your blue toenail. On your blue toe. Rainbow. Chaotic, not chaos. Well, you could take chaos as being the first god, or not the first god. God. Chaos was the beginning of everything, and then was it Kronos and Ops or someone? I don't know. And then you could change those words for God and Jesus and people like that, or you could change it for Zeus and Jupiter. It's not who you are, so you can make them think you are. So these people, these gods, however the terminology is, are just the same God but with different names. Happy 4th, Rob. I know it's not your 4th yet, but it will be, when I'm working away and you lot are all out drinking and eating and enjoying yourself. Well, my day was a hot one today. I was quite happy with that, to be fair. Oh, wonder if no moon this time. So we're expecting a buck moon. Sorry. We're expecting a buck moon, aren't we? So that should be interesting. Why don't they just call it a dollar moon? or a dollar, or how many 100 cents, or so many quarters, and nickels. And yeah, that's something I don't do. Vegetables. Um, I struggle to do flowers and bushes and shrubs and stuff. So, but I did. I don't know if it's such a word. Depot the yucca. Is that a yucca plant? The spiky, leafy things, and it's actually flowered. So probably more than 20 years old, but it actually flowered this year. I took it out of the pot that it was in and put it in another one, and it's flowered. It's like ooh, bigger than I thought. Um, when it flowered, it's all like shut up. So happy with that. But then put some flowers in the pot, and they come out quite nice. Quite impressed, to be fair. Oh, have a word with Trusted. He'll sort you out. Don't know. That's weird. Weather for them to freeze once planted, which is not surprising considering what's happening all over the world anyway. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we're in summer now, but it wouldn't surprise me if it started to snow. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Nothing will surprise me now about the weather. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, I'm happy that my dad used to grow grapes, so as a sort of remembrance of him, I planted a grapevine, and I've had many years of it not doing much, but this year it's absolutely um, shed loads of grapes on there. Probably too many for us to eat them all, but I think the birds will finish them off. So over the last couple of years, the birds have been eating them, but there weren't many there, but there's loads now. So look forward to them growing and tasting some of them. It's not really the country for uh, good grapes, I suppose. Looking at Italy and France and those sort of places, no, we are getting better weather. Ah, there you go. Even the best of us get it wrong, Jeep Girl. Trusty says often he plants too early. Don't you do the greenhouse thing? Don't you have them in greenhouses, which are glass houses, really, to be fair, not green. But so it's the done thing here. The tomatoes go in the greenhouse. I only did that once. Tomatoes were quite nice, to be fair, but I'm not. Um, I'm not into micromanaging the garden. Don't do those like seed tray things. Take all the seeds, put them all in, and then take them out and replant them, and blah blah blah. I don't remember that. My father did. He used to. Probably would have said did an allotment and was asked by the council to take over all of it. He dug a well and all sorts of things. Like, wow, looked very good, to be fair. Plus his own garden. I know he did it. I'm nothing like my father in that sense. I don't mind cutting a lawn, maybe, and trimming a few trees and hedges and stuff. That's a strange statement. How do you know which is the last one? So, like, we probably March. So April was when it was getting warmer. Then, at the end of April and beginning of March, we had days where we got frosty, where it doesn't normally get frosty. So our last frost should have been sort of like March, April, and then we got it later. So good job I didn't do vegetables. Yeah, usually that, but like I say, still got it. So March, April was normally when the last one, but then when it started to get warmer, we thought we got another bit of frost. All right, yeah. So like I say, I did it once, and then when the wind and rain and that came along, it was only like those plastic things. My father built a proper glass one, but yeah, the wind blew it apart. Mother's Day. When's Mother's Day? March 20 something, isn't it? No, when's Mother's Day? Yeah, somewhere around there, isn't it? So, yeah, like I say, we thought it was like frosted should be finished, but then it came on again. And the only reason I know that is because, or bother about it, is because I have to go to work. And then you open the door, go outside, and the car's frozen over, and you think, oh, I'm going to be late. Isn't it supposed to not be frozen? Thanks for that, Jeep Girl. A good rule is Mother's Day. No. Thank you. We do have the same Mother's Day, don't we? Not sure if we have the same Mother's Day. Let's check. See, I made an assumption there, didn't I? That Mother's Day in England was the same as Mother's Day in America. Probably not the case. Anyway, I think I'm going to go because it's 1 minute past 1. 0101. Oh, that's binary code. What does that say in English? Another cipher. Let's just start cold weather for a second. We couldn't make it. That sounds like something I'd do. Although, to be fair, I don't actually read when they're supposed to be planted. If I've got something, I'll just put it in the ground and see if it grows. I don't like killing things, so when I tend to cut the tops of like nice trees and that have flowers, I tend to put them in the ground and hope they grow. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. I found what they're called, not the forsythia, the other yellow ones, beginning with A. I can't remember, but they tend to grow easier when you cut them. Just put them in, like cut them at the leaf, put them in the ground. They tend to grow if you water them well. But then you got a garden full of the stuff. It's not a good idea. Don't know why, but we're starting to get holly growing everywhere. Don't know how that works because I haven't put any in. I haven't been planting any, but it seems to be holly growing all over the garden. By all over the garden, I mean in different areas, not all the way around the garden. Anyway, I'm going to go. So this was about well done, K-Pro, and the coincidental ninth at 9 Mile Hole and 9 clues and 9 this and 9 that. So finishing ninth, I think I wrote a poem on there. I can't remember how it went, but basically, learn from your mistakes of the all in. You know what I mean? And be proud of the finishing ninth. Davey B, just when I was going. How you doing? Happy birthday, America. Yeah, it's not their birthday yet. But happy birthday. That's a good way of putting it, Davey. I hadn't thought of that. Well, it wasn't the birth then, was it? When did America become America? Does it become America after you pass the 200 years colony thing? Or does it become America when you first said we're going to call it? I didn't say you're going to call it United States of America straight away, did you? Did you? I can't remember. My American history isn't that good, but I don't think it was called America straight away. United States of America. And how did you get the word America? Yep, we'll have to do tag, but unfortunately I'm going, so I don't know if anyone's going live. Maybe K-Pro, they've got to do their video holiday for 30 days. He's talking to you, Dave. He's obviously not talking to me, Pirate. Yep, safe day. Happy birthday to you, dear America. Happy birthday to you. Republic. Yeah, you were a republic, weren't you? You were a republic, was it? Were you set up as a republic or were you set up as a democracy? I can't remember now. Don't know. I know that you had to spend so long, to prove yourself being a colony. So were you just a colony? I don't know. Can't remember. When did you become America? Does anybody know? Who has that information? When were you called? That sounds almost Spanish and possibly Italian. Ooh. I'm not going to get involved in that. Okay, but when did you become America? I know that KLF talked about the ancients of Mumu and going there in 992, but you did not know. So they founded America apparently 992. 992. Yeah, 1776 was the Declaration of Independence and that. But did they say, right, we're calling it America now? United States of America or the Republic of America or the colony or don't know. Yeah, I do know that. And Pluto was around then, and Pluto's around now, and yeah, I'm fully aware of all that stuff, but I can't remember how. So to travel west, when did you wouldn't have been in the United States of America straight away because you were territories, weren't you? This territory, that territory. Ah, the Vikings. Is that Eric? I remember talking about Eric, or remember. Did I talk to Forrest about Eric in Mexico? I can't remember. Elvis and had a chat with somebody about something in New Mexico. Red River area, and the Lone Star House and something like that. The Woolen Bull, or whatever it's called. I can't remember. Really. Yeah, the colonies. So were you just called colonies, or you weren't America straight away, were you? Ah, there's something. The ratification. Oh, did they? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, the two important people, sign it in blood and whatever, blah blah blah. Adams. Yeah, wow. Well, I'm glad you're all thinking about, or that I've got you thinking about that because, firstly, it's nice to be proud of the country you live in. But whilst there's going to be some pride as to how it came about, there's also that sense of loss. Those people that gave their lives in order to make it happen. Those frontiersmen who discovered, like Lewis and Clark and those Pierre brothers, whoever they were, who first saw the Rocky Mountains, etc. Those people that dared to travel, to those places. But those people who also lost their lives in order to make, firstly to get rid of us British, and then secondly to set up the colonies and make it work. In a new land, obviously finding food, whether it be hunted or grown or farmed, I should say, farmed, and then found like berries, apples, and those sort of things that grow out there. Not bananas though. I don't think how many banana trees grow in America. It's hard for me to be. I'm proud of my country as a country, but it's hard for me to be proud of my history as an Englishman because most of the English were killed through people invading us. So we're like the descendants of those people that came over and plundered and pillaged and all those other things. And I say that tongue in cheek because my mum and dad come from Italy. So, but I think of myself as an Englishman, being born and raised here, and probably can think back to the fact that the Romans did come over and started it anyway. Not started it, but there were a lot of Roman um, soldiers over here who obviously stayed and had offspring. So then the Vikings and Normans and everybody else that decided, let's go over and sort that island out. So whilst it's proud to be English, it's hard to say that I can go back into the history of it and say, us English have been around for so many years and this is our country and stuff like that, because that's probably not the case to a great extent. Anyway, I'm waffling now, so I'm definitely going for America. America was in the 80s. South America. 1,000 years ago. That's roughly the time that KLF talked about. The 992, but you did not know. They're justified and ancient, they're moo-moos. Grand Canyon for the first time. Yeah, I like seeing that. The bigger ones, the Tetons. Those Mount Rushmore must have looked a lot different without them heads on it. The Mississippi River, wow, that must be a sight to behold when it's full and flowing. Though, thinking of crossing that, wondering where it goes to, where it came from, those sort of things. Yeah, very possibly. Copycat Byzantium. Well, like I say, I think we got invaded quite a few times as a country, and the Danes came over as well, didn't they? So everybody wanted to have a go at us until at some point, there were probably more foreigners here as English people, eventually becoming living here and being grown up here, but of foreign descent as it were. July 2nd. So I'm hoping that, I mean, we've got nothing like that here. There's nothing that we can sort of like recite as a declaration. So I'm going to go. Wish you all the best. Hope you're all safe. Probably don't drink too much. Don't eat too much. We're being told to wear sun cream even on the cloudy days now because skin cancer's not good. So if you're out in the sun, wear a hat or something. Put some sun cream on. Look after yourself. I appreciate you all being here. I enjoy the chats. It is interesting. I like to hear what people have to say. I may not agree with everybody, but having a debate is good as long as it's not just an argument. Sunblock proof. Not trusted yet. Bye, MJ. Yeah, I think we underestimate the power of those rays. So, I'm probably the worst one for just going out in the sun. I love the sun, but our world is changing. Maybe the sun is stronger, or the protection from the earth is weaker, or a bit of both, and it has a long effect. Thank you, Wig. So Wig, MJ, Zozo. There's 23 here, so I don't think there's 23 people in chat. So I thank those people. Wow, I've got 6 likes. Don't know how that happened. Thanks, Nikki, for coming. So there's some people here that I don't see often, but it's not that I don't think about those people, because certainly Nikki and Jeep Girl, I only see them like rarely in different places, but always cordial. Nice human beings. It's always nice to have people like that anywhere. Doesn't matter whether you're in the middle of town or at work or whatever. It's always nice to have, same as asterisk, imagination of innocence. Zozo, Wig. I put Davy B in there, I suppose. Might as well put Davy B in there. No, Paul. There are people that are in the community that would get on with everybody, because that's the sort of people they are. And don't get offended if I haven't mentioned it, because I think most of the people are like that. You do get concerns like you have who used to be Bad Greg. We have Frank. Street to some extent. Can be Ball. They're not horrible people, but they're just what's the word? I don't know if they're playing a part or whether they just want to be contradictory or whatever. I seem to try to believe that the chase has been compartmentalized and nobody knows what the other's doing, and all believe that their part is the most important part to be played, or they have the best hand. Let's put it like that. K-Pro, playing poker or whatever it is, has the best hand, and in order to win the game, that's what they have to do. They have to have the best hand, and that's what I feel like this is. Everybody says they've got the best hand, but at some point when everybody has to show their cards, only one person is going to be the winner, or should be, if it's done correctly. Not me. With power. So you're on the power hour. So, you're not actually, or someone like that, are you? Okay, I'll give Pirate the power. My hand. Hi, John. Good to read you. Your hand is pretty good. Yeah, I've got a feeling your hand is pretty good. David B's got a good hand, I think. Dave's saying hi to everybody, and I'm saying goodbye to everybody. Pretty good. See, that's the moon that we see. Davy B sees a different moon, which is the same as the moon in the book. Uh-oh. I'm assuming they're cards. I can't really see that well without my glasses on, but they're Joker cards. It wouldn't surprise me if Pirates put it on. I'm not supposed to have 5 Jokers in there. 4 cards and a Joker. What does that mean? Yeah, but John, I better go because deep run in the World Series of Poker 1K Ladies event. K Pros. So they're going on. So I'm going to let you all run over to there, and then I'm going to go sleep. And last day for 3 days tomorrow. Don't. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Trusted. Many smart trolls. Many smart folks. What said trolls then? Yes, or many chasers are smart folks. Yeah, not me. Did I ask you if you had a whole card, John? Pretty good hand. Yeah, but are you going to go all in or are you going to fold? Or are you going to, is it raise and call? No, what's a poker play to be better? But I've seen on plenty of them westerns. For real, or oh, yeah, I know that feeling. Are they supposed to be drunken pirates? Okay, I'm definitely going to go. Have a great day and a great night, I suppose. I don't know how it works. I don't know if you just celebrate like during the day, first thing, or it's a whole day of it or a whole night of it. Happy birthday, anyway, to America. Thanks for being the moderator, Pirate. You're doing a great job. Nobody dare speak out of turn when you're here. Even if they have got bigger wrenches than you, some of them. Ciao for now. Take care. Thanks for the people that thumbs up. Like I say, I haven't done it for thumbs up, and I don't do it for subscribers, but I do appreciate those people that do subscribe and do thumbs up. But if you have anything negative to say, then I don't mind. I don't mind that either, as long as you explain why. You make a statement, and then I'll know next time. What I'm doing wrong. Ciao for now. Listen to fine people in the chat. Yes, they all fine people in the chat. But that's because you have the power. They don't be anything other than that. See you later. Take care.